So we're crossing over Rifle Range Road into Sweetgrass. Sweetgrass is a neighborhood of about 252 homes, I think is what I've read. And this was built in several stages from 1991 to 1997. Some of them are brick fronted. Most of these are vinyl sided, and a majority of these that were built back here were built by Syntex. Again, Syntex built a lot in Mount Pleasant. And Syntex, to those of you who have never heard of it, you may have heard of Pulte Homes. Pulte does a lot of development around the southeast, and they've done a lot of retirement communities. But you know, this is a good location. My longtime assistant when I first got into business, Jessie, her and her husband Dave lived back here when he was in medical school. It's a pretty good commute to downtown Charleston. I think they said it used to take him about 20 minutes to get down to the medical university. If you come out of here, you're again right across the street from Seaside Farms. You're 5 minutes to Sullivan's Island and Isle of Palms. And again, quick location as far as accessing a town center, which is a giant outdoor shopping complex that's directly behind this. Good tree coverage. I mean, this time of year we're shooting this is in December. If you haven't picked up on the Christmas wreaths that are all over the doors, when it's in full bloom, it's really quite an attractive neighborhood. Price ranges at the time of shooting this video anywhere from the 350s to probably 475, maybe even 500 if you got a big enough house. All right, so we are heading out of Sweetgrass and crossing over to Isle of Palms Connector. Back up to our right, you access Isle of Palms, and back to the left is Town Center. We're gonna go into a couple of smaller neighborhoods that were built in the 80s, and we're gonna start off by going in East Crossing. And East Crossing is about 3 miles from Isle of Palms. Again, most of the houses built between 1986 and probably 88, 89. Smaller square footage houses back here, anywhere from 1,000 to 2,000 square feet. A lot of them don't have garages, or they have garages that were converted into living space. And I've sold a couple of houses back here to folks over the years, and they really like the location. You really don't have any amenities back here, but you know, with the beach being as close as it is, I think you can kind of work around that. But you can see the size of these houses. More or less, a lot of these are considered, when they were built, starter homes. You know, the price point right now as of shooting this video, probably in the high 2s to low 3s, just depending on the size of the house. Most of them have vinyl siding, some of them have wood siding, and I would say 98% of these houses are all single floor, so the master is going to be down. And if you're retired or you're just not wanting to deal with a lot of steps, this is a good spot. And again, this is East Crossing, just over the Isle of Palms Connector, up Rifle Range Road. All right, so we cross over Rifle Range Road from East Crossing, and we're going into West Point. And West Point, very similar neighborhood to East Crossing, just a different name more or less, because these were built in 1984, and some of these are newer. They were built in 1984 to 1993. There's about 122 homes back here, so a little bit bigger than East Crossing. Homes range anywhere from about 900 square feet to right around 2,000 square feet. Got really good schools nearby. Jenny Moore and Lang Middle School are being rebuilt. They're right up the street from here. You're literally about 5 minutes from the grade in the middle schools that service this neighborhood. And again, houses for the most part are going to be single story with the master down, so 1 floor living. And if you're looking for that type of lifestyle, I think, you know, West Point's a great location for that. 5 minutes to the beaches, and you can be in downtown Charleston in probably about 20 minutes. And as we talked about earlier, West Point and East Crossing are literally right next to Seaside Farms, which is, you know, a giant shopping area as well as the town center. All right, so we headed out of West Point, and we're heading into a neighborhood that's, you know, a lot different, I think, and that is Ravens Run. Ravens Run is a gated community, and it sits right next to the Isle of Palms Connector. Give me just a second, and we will get past the gate. So the houses back here, anywhere from probably 3 to 7 bedrooms. Square footage range on the houses, you know, anywhere from 2,700 square feet to some of the houses back here are over 7,000 square feet. You know, the thing that people like about Ravens Run, I think, is the lot size. The lot sizes here anywhere from probably a half an acre to well over an acre, which in Mount Pleasant is totally not the norm. As you know, if you know anything about Mount Pleasant or you've been shopping any amount of time, you know most of the lots here in Mount Pleasant are smaller, but these are much bigger, and they set up and overlook a big lake that's kind of central in the back that we'll be riding by here in a second. One of the unique things about Ravens Run is it has an airstrip. So if you're an amateur pilot and you have a plane, there's potential that you can use this to fly in and out of the neighborhood. Again, very close to Isle of Palms. You can be on the beach in about 3 or 4 minutes from here. Very mature neighborhood. And I would say, a large portion of the people that live back in Ravens Run are retirement age. Even though a lot of times people downsize when they retire, Ravens Run seems to attract a lot of people that have retired already and just want, I guess, some space between them and their neighbors. It has, again, like I said, an airfield. It has tennis courts, lakefront clubhouse, volleyball courts, and a boat storage and a swimming area. So you've kind of got everything back here that you would need. And again, super close to the town center and also just minutes away from Seaside Farms, where you can find Target and lots of other shopping complexes. But just really pretty lakes back here, and you can kind of see back over to our right. The airstrip, very narrow and very short to land the plane on, but I guess if you know how to fly a plane, it's probably not that hard. Some of these homes overlook the backside of Isle of Palms, so I mean, some of these houses have just spectacular sunrises because the sun rises over the backside of this complex. And again, houses back here range, I would say, in price range anywhere from probably the 6s on up to, I think, probably about $3 million. So it's not an entry-level neighborhood for Mount Pleasant at the price point that it is. All right, y'all, so we're heading out of Ravens Run, gated community like we had talked about going in, and we're going right across the street to a smaller neighborhood called Quail Hollow. And Quail Hollow is a neighborhood of about 105 homes that were built between 1984 and probably, would say, 1993. So, a little bit older community. You're about 6 miles from downtown Charleston, so again, great location. Most of these are anywhere from 2 to 4 bedroom homes. Doesn't have any community amenities, but when you're 5 minutes to Isle of Palms, probably not necessarily a necessity that you have a neighborhood pool. The schools that service this are Jenny Moore Elementary, Lang Middle School, and then again Wando High School, not too far up the road. And so we are heading out of Quail Hollow and going down to Crown Point. Crown Point is right off of Rifle Range Road. It's the second neighborhood on your left before you get to the Isle of Palms connector if you're heading south on Rifle Range. And we're going to pull back in here to Crown Point. Neighborhood of about 75 to probably 80 houses, I would have to guess. And some of the properties back up to the lakes and lagoons that kind of tie into Ravens Run. Ravens Run was more or less right next door to Crown Point. Homes range in square footage anywhere from probably 1,800 square feet to almost 3,000 square feet. See a few more 2-story homes back here than some of the other neighborhoods, the West Points and Quail Hollows that we rode through here just a few minutes ago. Some of them have brick fronts, most of them are vinyl siding. And these were built by various builders over the years. So some of these were built by production builders like Syntex, and some of them were built by mom and pop builders that built back here when these houses were built in 1987 through 1992 was the main time that Crown Point was developed. Again, super close to downtown Charleston, about 6 miles, and then you're 3 to 4 miles from the beaches on Isle of Palms. A great neighborhood if you want to be in central Mount Pleasant. Again, the finish level in these houses is going to be in keeping in most cases with what you would expect to find in a house that was built in the late 80s, early 90s. Some of these houses have been redone on the inside. And again, I like this neighborhood as far as location to the beaches and location to downtown Charleston.